How did you move it back there?
With the mule and my wife.
The mule or your wife, or she
The
wanted
gator, the gator and my wife.
the gator and the mule?
Yeah, whatever. The gator and the mule. We won't say who's which.
All right.
My wife's an angel. Now my favorite part comes. I like to tear an engine down. I like the precision of building the engine, so they're getting it all clean. Putting new gaskets in it, checking all the tolerances. That's all the stuff I really enjoy. Let's get this baby down closer to the ground. Safety first. And it decided it was going. Okay. Now we gotta stick it on the stand and all the fun begins. I'm gonna try to get it on there. We're gonna get a better look at it. She's definitely been sitting for a while. We gotta go through it, and it's got rust all in the cooling. But when I take it apart and we send parts out, they'll sandblast them and dip them in acid dips, and it'll all be brand new. If we airbrush it, it'll be just that little touch, not changing anything. It's not really changing. We're not gonna change the color or the design of it. It'll just bring it a little more modern, and the paint that we use now is a lot better than the paint they use, single stage paint. We use, multiple stage paints now. So, but we do want to stay to the original theme. So, I mean, when it pulls across to be sold, or John decides to keep it, and somebody looks out here at it, they'll be like, wow, that's amazing. That looks like an original 79. These are what'll be on it, and they'll be so beautiful on there. Those are what'll be mounted on there, so it'll stick to the times back then. It's a nice radial GT, 60 wide, just like what came on it. But with the newer, a little bit newer technology tire and design, but still holding true to the old white leather, raised letters, and so I think it'll look really good on there.
So what's the latest with the Fire Chicken, boss man? We gotta keep her moving. Do we have any body shops to shoot it yet?
We have a couple of body shops that are working on a quote for us. So I expect a quote back for them within the next day or two.
So what about the motor? We got the motor pulled apart.
Well, we always get the story when we buy something out of a barn. Oh, it ran when we parked it. And it probably did still run. It had definitely gotten hot. You can see the yellow coloration and everything. You can smell it too. And then we've got a couple
from 86? It's been sitting since 86, you can still smell it?
Yeah, you can smell the burn, the heat oil, the burned oil, especially when I pulled this end cap off. It was really strong. And this is the back end of the motor. That's where the heat would have really been bad, would have been back here. But it does have a couple of loose bearings. The journals all look good on the crank.
Loose bearings?
That's where they have a little, you would hear it. If it was running, it would have a slight knock.
Well, how do you know they're loose?
Because I could move them with my hands. There was a couple of them. See how that?
Right there. Get up on this. Is that click, click?
If I can move that with my little old fingers, then the motor's spinning at 5,000 RPMs.
So what's the machine shop going to do?
Well, the machine shop will go in and clean our block. We'll electro test it and make sure there's no cracks or nothing in it. They'll come in and they'll resurface our bearing journals, so they're nice and smooth again and true. They'll come in and they'll do the same to the block. And then the heads, they'll surface off the bottom, just shave a fine layer off the bottom of the heads, and they'll put all new valve seats in our valve springs. Okay. So they don't leak oil.
Is the cam okay?
The cam looks great, actually. That was one of the things I did. I was really surprised that it doesn't have any flat spots on it. When you're looking at the lobes, these are what push your intake and exhaust valves up and down. So you'll see the wear right here in the lobes, and this cam looks really good.
Okay. And it's not a high-rise cam, it's factory?
It's factory.
Good, so we'll give that blub, 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 blub. That's what we don't want.
Yeah, we'll keep that.
So what will they specifically do to these bearings?
Well,
so you'll pull the bearings apart.
Yeah, I can show you one half of a bearing.
Okay.
This is one half of one. It would have been like so on with another cap. And this is the oil groove that goes in there, and you can see how it's changed to the coloration.
Yep.
That's the wear. You can see where it
So you can
has
put new
worn.
bearings on it?
Yeah, we'll put new bearings in, and they'll be to the size of what they turn the crank.
Okay.
So if they turn the crank 10,000, then these will be 10,000 over. They'll be 10 thousandths bigger, so that way they make up for the difference.
So when you say turn the crank, you mean they're going to shave the crank down 10 thousandths, and
Yeah.
so the bearings you're going to get are 10 thousandths larger than factory
Larger,
spec.
right.
Are those easy to find?
Yeah, they're made to wear. These are made to wear. They're a wear replacement. None of our original main parts will be changed. We'll be able to keep the crank. We'll be able to keep our piston tops, our piston rods. The only thing that's going to be changed is going to be the wearable parts, the bearings and seals.
So the
and
top of the
gaskets.
pistons, let's flip this over.
You can see again here where it got hot. We show the heat and the carbon built up. The discoloration of the pistons and the cylinder walls. They'll go in and home this all clean. They'll use a.
So they'll pull the pistons out?
I will.
And then do you clean them?
Yeah, we'll clean. I'll vat them. And
Acid?
yeah, they'll go in a treatment.
And who's got that? Because we don't have one here.
Now I have a big parts washer at the house.
Okay.
And I'll just buy a 5-gallon jug of the stuff, and we'll take it home. I'll take them home and drop them in there.
Okay.
And they'll look like brand new aluminum tops when they come out of there. Then the wrist pins inside the piston where they pivot will get replaced because that's a wearable part.
Right.
These lifters will get replaced because they're a wearable part.
What do they look like?
Right here.
Fine.
And this will always, you see the circle?
Yep.
That's your wear spot. That's
okay.
where it actually is made. That's good that it wore here and not on the cam. That's where that cam lobe is actually rubbing and pushing this up and down.
Okay.
Right. And that shows a divot. When you can see a circle, that means it's divoted.
So 60,000 miles, is that normal?
Yeah, that's normal wear. I mean, they were rough on it. You can tell they didn't run coolant. See how rusty it is in there? They didn't run antifreeze.
So you're in water?
Yeah, they just ran water in it.
Welcome to Mississippi.
Yeah, and the mechanic can always tell that when they get it apart. I mean, you can instantly
Make
see.
sure you get a new one of these.
Yes,
Because as long
definitely.
as you're doing all this, everything that you look at needs to be pretty.
Yeah, and it needs.
What color do you want to paint the engine?
Back to factory teal color, I believe it was.
Is that what it was?
Like, yeah,
Okay.
it's like a light blue color.
Okay. Like those valve covers?
Yes, sir. So we can stay back to factory, and it'll just be clean and freshly painted.
What's that manifold right there, that plastic, that gasket?
This one? That's a valley pan. It's made to keep debris out. It actually sits like right here, and your heads are sitting here.
Okay.
And it's made to help catch some of the debris that sucks down through the carburetor and your gas and trash. It kind of is a collect-all. We'll see where it collects up.
Do we want a fuel injector or leave it carbureted?
Leave it carbureted.
Okay.
Keep it all. If we're able to stay all original, then that's definitely. And how did you want to do this? I know we like to stay back original. You know, they painted the car back then and then put the decal on.
Right.
Oh, I mean, if this thing wasn't sitting in a barn all its life, this decal would have been gone already.
Right.
The new way they like to try to do it is to put the decal on and then clear coat over the top of it. So
I think that's the way to go.
I think so. I do too. So I just wanted to clear that with you, and so that way when the paint man asked me, I knew the answer. And that's what I would do too, because then it'll stay and it won't peel back up.
I'm John Clay Wolfe, CEO of GiveMeTheVin.com. Get it? GMTV. Right here, click it if you want to sell your car, because I love buying cars. I love buying cars, all of them. Big ones, little ones, short ones, fat ones, tall ones, skinny ones. I love buying cars. Like and subscribe right here if you want to be updated with the next episode.